Okay, I'm going to show people who may not know this something that they didn't know about brake fluid and oil filter wrenches and a very trick ratchet that I'd like to share with everyone because I never knew these existed. Anyway, about brake fluid. You have to change your brake fluid at least every other year, every 3 years, depending on how humid the climate you are in is. Okay, I have an old bottle of new brake fluid, and I have a more recent, newer bottle of brake fluid. These are .34. This one is .4. Department of Transportation, whatever that, I think that's what that means. But anyway, when you open a bottle of brake fluid, it starts to absorb moisture right out of the air. Okay? That moisture in your system will create corrosion inside your brake system, all the plumbing. And that plumbing will start to corrode, and all of that corrosion will gravitate down towards your brake calipers, your clutch slave cylinder piston and bore, and that corrosion will abrade the piston in your slave cylinder and the O-ring and cause it to fail eventually. The same with your brake calipers, because your brake, the seals around your brake pistons, your brake piston calipers, brake caliper pistons to, it'll mess the bores up. So, what do you have to do? You have to change it. Now, even though you have a new bottle that you've opened a year ago or so, you can check it to see if it's worth using, if it's safe to use. This is a brake fluid moisture content tester. I bought this on eBay for, it was under 10 bucks. This is not how they normally look. There was a little plastic guide for these two probes on the bottom that broke. I think it wasn't brake fluid resistant. But anyway, it runs on one battery, and it will light up the more moisture that is in the brake fluid, that it is absorbed right out of the air. And when it's in your master cylinders for your clutch or for your brake calipers, your brake system on your car or motorcycle or whatever, there's a breather on there, because as your brake pads wear and get thinner and thinner, those pistons travel further and further, and you're making up brake fluid as it gravitates down towards the caliper. Okay? Well, that has to be able to get down there, so there's a breather on the cap, and that's how the moisture gets in. Alright, so here's how the tester works. I got some brake fluid here out of this bottle. It's a new bottle. This one right here. I'm sorry, it's not new. It's new brake fluid, but I had opened the bottle a few years ago. Alright? I tested this to see if it had absorbed moisture because I had it open years ago. Watch the bottle. Watch the tester. I turned it on. The more LEDs that light up, the more contaminated the brake fluid is. Look at that, all the way to the top. That's more than 4% moisture in there. So that brake fluid is contaminated. That's no good. Alright, I have a bottle of brake fluid I opened last October. I'm going to have to pour some in here, in the separate compartment for brake fluid in the center there. Anyway, I'm going to test that newer brake fluid. I have it in the center there, not in the outside where I had this. Turn it on. Let's test the one that I had opened in October and closed it right away. Okay, that's only showing, it's showing good, it's green. Okay, that's showing 1%. It's barely 1% moisture, so that's okay. It's in the okay range on the scale on the side here. But I'll go back to the other one that's in the outer compartment of this watch. That's no good. And on here it says it's bad. So you can buy a brake fluid tester on eBay for under 10 bucks. Okay, something else. Let me get rid of this brake fluid. I'm very nervous about brake fluid. Because it takes paint off of things. Okay. Let me show you this. About oil filters. Okay, they're tough to get off. So what you want to do is take your oil filter to Pep Boys or AutoZone or somebody and buy a socket that will fit your oil filter. Okay. Nope. Bingo. Then you can spin the oil filter off with this socket. Okay, it saves a lot of aggravation. You pick these up. You can get them in plastic. If you're a if you're a mechanic, you're going to be using these all day. So I would buy the metal ones. These are all metal, but you can get whole bunch of them, like a stack of. You can buy little funnels. Well, you can get a whole stack of oil filter sockets, and that makes life a lot easier. Okay, one other thing I wanted to show you about the oil filters, about changing, getting that socket on there. My truck is really tough to reach in there and get the oil filter off, to get a tool on it. I can get a socket on it, but I really can't get a lot of stroke out of the handle of the ratchet. Okay, this ratchet is a Husky brand. They sell these at Home Depot. It's a regular 3/8 drive reversing ratchet. Okay, so you get this on the oil filter, and it had this is wonderful. This is the ratchet I grab for everything now, but whenever you really can't do a full stroke to get something on or off, you just do this. Want to reverse it? It really comes in handy whenever you're like if you have to take out a spark plug or put a spark plug in. You can get in there, but you're under the gas tank. Maybe you just have your gas tank lifted a little bit, and there are things in the way, and you really can't get a full stroke on your ratchet. You just get it on there, and once you break it loose, you can get that spark plug out of there just by turning the handle. Wonderful tool. I just thought I'd pass that on. I never knew these existed for the first 40 years, 30 years of me working on things. Okay, one other little thing while I'm here. Wear a bandana on your head when you're riding your motorcycle with your helmet on. Should always wear a helmet. But when you wear a bandana, okay, summertime, even fall, your head, you're sweating. Okay, and that goes into the lining of your helmet, and it starts to smell funny. All right, and then you start to smell funny when you take it off. Okay, put a bandana on every day, and when you're done for the day, take it off, throw it in the wash, get another one. That way it keeps your helmet from getting the greases and smelling funny. Okay, can also, I bought a dozen of these on eBay. These, I don't know what they're called, skull caps or something. It has a little skirt here for keeping the sun off the back of your neck. I don't see how it's going to do that while you're riding, but who knows. But what I'll do is I'll soak them in water on hot days. Well, it's going to wet the inside of your helmet. Yeah, so's the sweat. I'd rather have it wet with water than wet with sweat with grease and acids in it from your body. So I always use these things. And then I like to, when it's hot, I'll also use these bandanas around my neck. Soak it with water, twist it up, put it around your neck. That water evaporating is taking heat with it. Just a few little tips I thought I would pass on that I've learned over the years. See you there.